Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. But before we do so, could you please consider liking and subscribing to the channel? I am aiming for 500 subscribers. I hope we can make it and end the year with 1k. So let's go. Every time Izagi has been up against a player similar to him, Izagi always ends up growing. Since Charles is challenging him to see who reads the field the best, I wonder what Izagi can learn from Charles. Remember, even if Izagi thinks Charles uses metavision, it doesn't mean it is the case. And even if it were to be true, every user of metavision doesn't act the same. Plus, from what we have seen from Charles, he doesn't seem to be a pure dribbler like Sai or Hiyori or even Ness. Charles uses off-the-ball movements to create space to be free to receive passes and immediately set up the attack. In this sense, Charles is definitely not the archetypical offensive midfielder. There's also something that seemed a little bit off to me. When Loki said that Shido needed to improve his precision, I wondered if that had to do with who was passing him the ball. It is quite safe to assume that Charles is easily PSG's best passer. So it makes sense that it's easier to score from his passes, and it was actually how Charles was shown to us the first time, providing 2 assists, one to Rin, one to Shido. I wonder if when Loki said that Shido shot 12 times but only managed to have 3 shots on target, I wondered if the shots on target were those when Charles passed the ball to Shido, and the other shots were made off other players' passes, because obviously their passes are not as good as those from Charles. If you remember, in the U20 game, although a lot of stuff in Blue Lock happens off screen, Shido's shot precision was never even once questioned. First, the one passing the ball to him was the genius Itoshi Sae. Either way, I'm really interested in seeing if Izagi can learn something from Charles. Noah seems to have given the team many assignments, among which the most important one is not letting Charles be free, and that will be in line with my assumption that Charles' passes are so good that any striker can easily score off of them. Hence why Noah told Bayern München not to let Charles get the ball. Loki made a huge bet by trying a brand new system for the last game against Bayern München. A brand new system with Rin and Shido, which he kinda took inspiration from while watching Noah and what he did with Bayern München. The issue is, Bayern München has more experience within this contest compared to PSG. No matter how mature and good their players are, they will not adapt to this system in that short period of time. The whole thing is made worse with players trying to survive like Nanase and just to get a bid high enough to be in the 23 players for the U20 World Cup. As such, we clearly see on the pitch a lack of chemistry. It looks more than unexpected chemical reactions created by players' egos being somewhat aligned. I mean, look at Karasu and Nanase. When they both go in an attempt to stop Kaiser, Karasu literally asked Nanase to read the room. Compare that to the U20 game where Karasu was always giving instructions so that the Blue Lock team could best stop Sai. These are 2 different worlds, but it worked here because Nanase did not directly interfere and just waited for an opening and went in. Of course, Kaiser evaded them both, but we will never know what Karasu could have done next if Nanase wasn't there. The same thing applies with Tokimitsu and Zantetsu. They did not aim to double team on Ness, but more so Zantetsu used the situation to his advantage and went in to steal the ball. And so far, we are yet to see a player from the Shido system passing the ball to a player from the Rin system. I know it's too early to tell, but this may hint at Charles' role being the most important, as every player seems to have no qualms passing the ball to Charles, who then decides how a play should unfold. PSG is using a brand new system centered around Rin and Shido, but so far there are no hints of chemistry, and I am afraid we may get a repeat of the final selection ahead of the U20 game. The first cracks will appear soon, especially after PSG scores their first goal. Whoever scores first will have the other one even more rattled. If Rin scores, Shido will want to score the next one and vice versa, thus creating even more chaos and more pressure on Charles to keep the team together in a sense. Before we dive deep into this, I want to tell you that I believe Kaiser is a genius. He has everything a striker needs: great physicals, technique, speed, IQ, and a deadly weapon in the Kaiser impact. There is no denying that. All the pros acknowledge him. Noah even said that Kaiser is better than him regarding the Kaiser impact. Yet Noah doesn't consider himself inferior to Kaiser. And the same could be said for Snuffy, Lavino, or even Chris Prince. Do you know why? Because even if Kaiser is better than them in regards to all metrics involved with the Kaiser impact, all these pros are still better than Kaiser because they bring more to the table. I see people scream at how it took 3 players to stop Kaiser. Well, isn't that the same that happened with Baru? So we're saying Baru and Kaiser are equals now? Why are you guys acting like fangirls just because PSG had to use 3 players to stop Kaiser? Of course they have to bring the big guns to stop such a monster. It's exactly like Rin said, remove the Kaiser impact and Kaiser is finished. At least that's what the story has shown us so far. You don't believe me? Let's talk about adaptability. Tell me if Kaiser has been shown once to stop an attack and start from scratch again. Let me save you some time, it never happened. Kaiser keeps spamming the only formula he thinks will be useful to assert dominance: Meta Vision, Predator Eye, Kaiser Impact. And it doesn't help that Ness doesn't even try to go beyond to send passes when Kaiser is in a better situation. Notice when Ness passes the ball to Kaiser, it's always in the context where Kaiser still has a mountain to climb to score. Don't get me wrong, sometimes there can't be any other way, but look at this. In the Mindshine City game, Kunigami is dead open and Kaiser is literally surrounded, yet Ness still believes Kaiser will do the impossible instead of trying to start from scratch and find any other way. This toxic way of feeding their self-fulfilling prophecy of Kaiser being the rainmaker will be the reason for their downfall. Look at what Kaiser says. An impossible shot is what he wants? Really? Couldn't you do better in that scenario? How about starting over and passing the ball back to Ness and, let him be creative? Oh, my bad. I forgot that Kaiser said he did not need Ness to be creative. When Kaiser lost the goal-scoring bet in the Ubers game, we saw him training, and exactly what was he shown training? Again, his best weapon, the Kaiser Impact. For those thinking Kaiser has another weapon up his sleeve, where was it when Lorenzo was giving him hell? What did Kaiser do other than resort to being a hyena and feed off Izagi's scraps? I am dead serious when I tell you, I will be utterly shocked if Kaiser has something else up his sleeve without any hint of him changing his lukewarm attitude. Kaiser has always resorted to low-level criminal schemes. Kaiser would rather destroy people at their weakest instead of taking them on at their strongest. Kaiser cannot stand strong in the face of Noel Noah because he knows Noah is superior to him. Compare that to Kaiser in front of the Blue Lock players. Man was flexing. And for what? Just because he's better than them? It's always been the same thing. Prince said it. Kaiser looks down on the weaklings without even considering he could learn from them. Not even once did Kaiser stop to wonder what Izagi, with his low-level skills, what he had been through, to be able to gain this resilience of always standing up after being knocked down. Kaiser thought that the Kaiser Impact would make Izagi despair, except Izagi knows too well that there are things you cannot copy from a genius like Kaiser. My goat switched gear and stole the piece he could steal. Made a vision. That's adaptability, guys. This is what a mentality monster does. Kaiser, on the other hand, knowing that he and Izagi see things the same way, he knows that Izagi will help the defense, and him being the coward that he is, he instructed Ness and Grim to steal all second balls so that he can be free to attack while Izagi is out there defending. Always the easy way out. Always rushing instead of staying calm and starting over. Kaiser is a genius who is too scared to push himself harder. What else can this version of Kaiser show us? Nothing. except if he despairs and rebuilds himself from scratch, which I'm sure is Noah's end goal. By pitting Izagi, a far weaker player, against Kaiser, Noah is trying to teach Kaiser something, but yet again, instead of learning, Kaiser resorts to low-level schemes. While Izagi has already immersed himself in the challenge of stopping PSG, Kaiser is super happy as his strategy seems to be working. Izagi has been stuck in defense and Kaiser is free to attack. I can tell you this already, the Blue Lock boys on Bastard München will figure it out soon. Izagi, Hiyori, Kunigami and maybe even Noah will definitely get what's going on. No way someone can side with a coward such as Kaiser, like really. I thought Kaiser would get his moment in this game, but I'm starting to contemplate other possibilities. What if it's Ness instead who wakes up? What if Ness gets born again and goes back to using his creativity, his magic? And instead of just passing the ball to Kaiser and praying he does the impossible, what if Ness goes into the world that is at the intersection between the ideal plays he wants to make and the plays that are realistically possible? What if Ness wakes up and sends a pass to someone other than Kaiser? Let's say even maybe Kunigami. What if Kaiser finally becomes the Naked King as Ness will be taken away from him? We already saw how Underlashes Jr. already took the Kaiser impact out of the equation. If this keeps up, then Kaiser will lose his weapon that he's so proud of and Ness, a true Naked King. Now, Kaiser can still surprise us. I mean, he's a genius after all, don't forget it guys. But I need him to lose everything first. I mean, it will be quite fitting because in the other game, the other genius, Nagi Seishiro, will also be naked as Ryo will stop playing for him. Ryo will start playing solo, being free. And that's gonna be interesting guys. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm gonna see you in the next one.